Can everyone on Zoom hear us? Just shake your head yes. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so Go Big Give, as we all know, it is May 5th, 2022. It's 24 hours of giving from midnight to midnight. So I'm sure everyone has already marked their calendars, but it's just good to remind everyone. Okay, so the Grand Island Independent, they are going to be able to work with everyone to get a Go Big Give insert into the paper. If Mindy comes, she can talk more about this, but I'm going to go ahead and try and speak for her. Okay, she's just a little late. She's right come back. Okay, we'll just come back to it. That's perfect. Okay, again, it's 24 hours of giving. The minimum online donation is $10. And this is with added match pool funds and incentive prices. If you want to know more about the Go Big Give, you can look back on that intro meeting that we had in January. It's available on the nonprofit toolkit. So some Go Big Give stats. In 2021, we raised a little over 1.3 million. So that's just superb. We have a lot of generous people in our community. Here's some stats from 2014 to 2021. We have amount raised in 24 hours. We have the match pool funds. We have the donors who gave to more than one organization. And then we have first-time donors to give. If we look at the numbers, it's been steadily increasing. Some of the years they've gone down a little bit, but for the most part, these numbers are going up. In 2021, we had 142 nonprofit organizations participate. So Go Big Give 2022. Congratulations to the Sweetheart Early Registration Prize winner, the YMCA of Grand Island. And this year we have 150 nonprofits participating. And again, Thursday, May 5th. Those pre-give dates are Monday, April 25th to Wednesday, May 4th. So if someone can't give for whatever reason on May 5th, they can give those dates beforehand. Or if they're just super excited, then they can give then. We want to just thank all of the sponsors who are helping us put on this event. We appreciate all of their willingness to help and their generosity. Okay, I'm going to hand it over to Melissa and Karen to take it over from here. We're going to talk about the incentive prizes, match pool funds, and support them all. Do you want me to stay up here and go through, or do you want to go through?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay.
Prizes, everybody loves prizes, right?
That's the part. We get the
fun part. We got really crazy last year, and we were, trying to make it fun.
As the day goes on, we get more and more tired and more crazy. So, we tried to keep it simple this year, for once, and decided that we'd keep it simple on ourselves and on you guys. Prizes are the same. They're a little bit, the only tweaks really are to times.
Stand closer so the people on Zoom can hear.
Yeah.
The technology.
Yeah. The only changes this year to prizes are really like the time. So the match minutes have changed to 8 o'clock, or no, they should be 9 o'clock because it's the 9th year. Right. So the 9 o'clock hour. So 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. hour are the match minutes. Same with the power prize is going to be, it'd be 309, wouldn't it?
Well, but it was 308 because of the area code.
Oh, so 308.
Yes.
Yeah. So 308 with that because of area code. But other than that, same prizes. You're still going to have your 100% board match challenge. The random drawings where, if you have worked with your board and you've done your timed givings or your donors, we're going to do those random drawings every half an hour for the prizes. We're going to do some pre-give prizes just like we did last year. the Give a Latte. We're going to have those tiered just like we did last year. We're going to do the tiering system a little different because when we've been doing the annual budget thing, you guys are not being very consistent with that. It seems like there's some confusion on how that should be working. And it's not coming in very consistently. And so we're going to just work with you guys on what that looks like. We're talking internally exactly what that looks like. We're going to try and make it so that the tiers are consistent and there's about the same amount of organizations in each tier for the small, medium, and large. So
roughly 50, 50, 50, you'll be in a category. And I think one of the things it'll be an equalizing opportunity rather than looking at just the budget. And that was the only reason we asked for everybody's budget, was to try and get a scope and scale of the smaller organizations versus the larger organizations. And so we figured out, I think, an equitable way of dividing you all up. So roughly you still have a very equal chance there. So
we'll still have Give S'more, the Most Outside Nebraska, Overachiever, which is, the nonprofit that has the greatest increase in the amount that they raised year over year. The Let's Go Live, so you have to go live on Facebook to be eligible for that prize. And then those fundraising pages, those used to be called cheer pages. So that's a lot like a GoFundMe, but it's through the Neon, not Civicor, but Neon One now, where your donors or your board members kind of set up their own little shop for you and do a fundraising page. And I think Allie and Megan will talk a little bit more about those pages here down the line in the presentation. And so there'll be some prizes around those. And you can find a list of all the prizes on the Go Big Give website that lists out all of the eligibility and all of that type of thing, just like you've always been able to. So if you have questions, refer there first, read through all of that, and then you can email us at give@gobiggive.org.
And everybody knows that the full list of all the prizes are in the toolkit, so you can print those off, share them with people, strategize with your board. People do a really good job with that, especially, distributing the gifts of people that are going to give and try to optimize those prizes. So every half-hour gift, remember, you can only win that once. So if you win that and you win it early, you might want to re-strategize on some of your timing of gifts. But anybody have questions on the prizes, kind of a carryover from last year or any of that?
We will have an endowment prize again from the foundation. So anyone who raises over $10,000 and hasn't won it before will be eligible for a $10,000 endowment at the foundation. We'll draw that at the June meeting.
So
Karen?
Yeah.
Just to be clear on that match minute, the sheet, I could print up the price off. It does say 8, but now it is 9.
It'll be 9. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Next year it'll be 10.
Okay.
Catch the pattern there. Yeah.
Match pool. You want to talk a little bit about match pool?
So the match pool funds are, proportional share of what you raise and the dollars that we have available. And, we have always been blessed with a Sherwood grant for $15,000 to count towards those match pool and incentive prizes. And this year that's not an opportunity for us. So we've been working really hard to try and make that up so that the same amount of match pool funds and incentive prizes. We were really hoping to grow that, but now we're just really focusing on making sure that we have every single dollar available that we had last year. And so
looks like we're going to be there.
We're really close. We're very close to all of that. So that will be all announced. All the sponsors and stuff are on the website or will be shortly once they're on there, but you saw them coming fast and furious right now. So the deadline's there. Any other questions on the prizes on that?
We'll also have this.
Yeah.
Talk about Let's Go Live on Facebook.
It's the same as last year. It's where you just need to have a Facebook Live video promoting your organization between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. And you need to use the hashtag GoBigGive. Carol, you can find a full description on the toolkit. with all the other prizes.
But you do need to use the hashtags because that's how we'll filter and be able to see it. So we'll kind of know, and especially if you tag, you know, Go Big Give, that also helps to like people watching that.
If it's not hashtagged, we won't be able to find it because we can't dig through like all of Facebook searching for the videos. So if you're going to go live, you have to have that hashtag on there for us to be able to find it.
And yes. I will say that the videos were really powerful last year. You know, people were watching, people were excited, people connected with it. So you know, it's, you know, we always, when we set up the prizes, we're like, encourage the behaviors you want to see. So keep doing that because that was helpful. Yeah.
When you say use the hashtag, do you say that in your video or?
Hashtag it in the description of the video in the text.
Does it tell us how to do that?
You just use a pound sign like you used to use on an analog phone, and then pound Go Big Give. Okay. And that's how we are able, because then we can search that on Facebook and it'll pull up all the videos that have that in their description. So, and like I said, if you go on the website and look in the toolkit, it has it spelled out exactly how to do it in the description for that prize. We'll also have the support them all feature again this year, just like we've had in prior years, where donors have the option as they're checking out to, you know, round up or add extra dollars to their cart, where it will go across the board to every organization. So somebody, you know, if I've given to 3 organizations, then I decide I want to add $25 and have it go to every organization equally, you know, at the end. So that will be added as well.
We did change though the amounts that are available in the checkout cart. We were, you know, so clever. We had 143 nonprofits, so we did $1.43, $14.20, you know, whatever, and it made sense to only us, and it was confusing to everybody else. And then everybody had odd amounts in there, so you'll see a different set of amounts in there, and hopefully, you know, people just, and it's also an option that if that's all people want to do, it's like the first icon in the picture of all the agencies. So if you just wanted to give to Go Big Give and wanted it to go to all the organizations, people could just go right there, click, and then go. But you also see in the checkout, you know, it always populates. So other organizations like, oh, you gave to this, would you, you know, like you do in any good shopping cart, right? Don't you need shoes to go with this? So, you know, hopefully once people go in there, they will go out and still maybe find some other organizations. And then the other key thing that I think was added was the keywords. So even if they went in to support them all, but then they're there and they're like, oh, who does something with animals? So there's more keywords that are going to be associated with finding other organizations this year than we've had the ability to do last year. So the prizes are a great incentive to get them there to help grow their gifts. That's a very easy way and a reason to explain Go Big Give. But once they're there, they'll find out all the great work that is being done in so many other ways. So,
yes, awesome. Well, thank you. We're going to kind of transition into more of those fees, how the cash process looks, how the check process looks. But I also want to give a disclaimer that I'm still updating the prices on the website. So if you look like after the meeting, give me a couple days to make sure that that's completely edited.
Okay. So the fees are 5%, and these are, you know, just the actual fees that we incur. There's that we pay for the platform fee that Neon Pay charges us to just do all of the functionality, and then the credit card fee, and then a per transaction of like 30 cents for every transaction. And then if it's a ACH payment, it's $1 per transaction. So, you know, those are the fees, and we try to keep those affordable, but we also offer the opportunity for our donors to cover the cost of the fee. So when they're checking out, it'll say, do you want to cover the 5% cost of this gift? And a lot of people did. I think, wasn't it like $18,000 last year that we had in fees that were covered? So that's another win with all of that. American Express, as anybody knows, if you've had an American Express card, the fees on that is a full % higher. So we really try not to use American Express, and so we're not putting that out there. But if you have a large donor and they really want to make that gift using that, you know, we're certainly not going to turn that away, but we're absolutely not encouraging in that just because you pay such a higher amount on that. So that's kind of the verbiage. I would just direct them to another credit card if they possibly can. Any questions on that, the fees? We, as you know, the foundation, the United Way, we don't take any fees in the process of doing that. In fact, we put money into the pot as sponsors and dollars for the organization. So it's all processing.
So this has kind of been touched on by Karen and Melissa. So more ways that nonprofits can grow those donor gifts. The fundraising pages, I'm actually going to give a tutorial of the website so you know where to find that. But that's basically like what we used to call a cheer page or like a GoFundMe page. So you're just going to share that and ask people to help bring awareness to it and to give their donations. I don't think we're talking more about the challenge grants. We had some questions with the challenge grants.
yeah.
So if we just maybe want to cover that so that's very clear to everyone.
So this is what the challenge grant looks like when it's there. But this is you going out and finding somebody to issue a challenge. You want 100 new donors. You want to raise $1,000. You want, you know, 25 puppies adopted. Whatever challenge you want, and you have a donor that's going to financially offer a benefit for that challenge, is where you can put that all right here. And the important thing though, and where I think some people got a little confused last year, is that challenge grant needs to be entered by the end of Go Big Give Day, by the end of May 5th, to be counted towards your totals and some of everything else that we're doing. So if they added it to or gave it to you 3 days later, that's great, you've got it, but it's not going to count towards this, if that makes sense. So if you can secure that, and a lot of times, you know, they're going to make that gift anyway, even if you fell a little short or whatever, but just be in communication with them. And whether they're entering it into the system or you're entering it into the system, that has nothing to do with us. So don't call us and say, hey, you need to give us the challenge grant. No, we're like, that's not us, that's you. And so just make sure you're in communication with that.
This is our first year doing this.
Yeah. Good.
But we have secured challenge grants already. How soon can we put them in? Can we put them in now, or do we have to wait until the 25th?
You can put in that you have one on your page, but you can't actually financially put them into the system until after the 25th or to the 25th.
You can just,
but you can add them to your page so that donors know that you have a challenge grant and this is how much you're trying to match.
And they were adding some technology so that people could go out and easily, well, they had it last year, but they're refining it a little bit this year. Find who has challenge grants, who has unmet challenge grants, who's met their challenge grants, so they can search actually by that. So it really is another way for you to grow your gifts, but also for the donor to know that they're growing their gift as well. So yeah, that's okay.
So when there is a challenge grant, is there a way that the donor designates that this money is for that? How do they show that this is?
Because it's on your page. So it's all tied to you. You create it, so it's all under your profile. We don't track the challenge grants or the process on that. You do. Well, it will track actually here when it's processed. It'll track electronically, but then you'll see that, the donor will see that, but it is nothing that we manually track or have anything to do with. It's all kind of done through the system.
So there. How we're training is
yes, yes, yeah. And then they will, so the progress towards the challenge grant would be archived here live. And so if it was $1,000, then that donor would go online and make that $1,000 gift. Or if you had that $1,000 check, you know, then you could bring that to us to enter. You could, ideally, we're going to talk about checks here in a little bit. That donor would enter that check online. Or if it was cash, you know, that has to be brought to us as well.
So that's more about it. And then I think we've covered this at the intro meeting, but when you're asking for those challenge grants, make sure you're not asking businesses to sponsor Go Big Give, because we are asking businesses to sponsor. So that might get a little confusing.
So very, very different things. Like we go and ask for sponsorships, Karen and I do for Go Big Give. You guys are asking for challenge grants, or a match grant. You could use that as well.
Or a flat out donation.
Yeah, but don't ask for sponsorships because that gets very confusing for donors and for businesses, because we've already gone out and asked for sponsorships for Go Big Give. And so that's a good way for them to tell either you know or us no, because they're confused why they're getting asked by all these different places for sponsorships.
Yes.
When you guys ask, like, you guys are asking great questions, when they ask, will you kind of reiterate?
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
So that people are seeing that?
Yes,
yes.
we will. Thanks, Megan.
Now that we're done with questions, I apologize to the cyber world.
Just a couple of things to know. Please do not use Internet Explorer for Go Big Give. It is not compatible with Neon 1. If a donor tries to use it, this is what they will see on their screen.
At least it'll tell you this year. That first year that we were all like, what is going on here? So now we can put that out.
So if they do try and use it and that shows up, they should be able to figure that out. But if they contact you and they're like, I'm not sure what's going on, just let them know it's not compatible and to try like Google Chrome or Firefox. So we're going to do donors and then cash.
Okay. So especially if you're new or you have, you know, people that are new, you can kind of explain the donor process here. And so donors can make a gift two ways. They can go in and create a profile, which we highly recommend, and I'll explain that in a minute, or they can just go in and do a quick checkout as a guest. But if they create the profile, then if they ever, they'll get a receipt for that with their email and all the contact information. And now it's tax time. So you can actually go back into the system today and look back at what was donated and get documentation for that. If that's helpful for them. And it kind of tracks that from year to year. So we do recommend creating a profile there. And there's, you know, if you forgot your login or your password, like with anything, you can do that. The donations are pre-give, starting up here April 25th, almost a month away. And then the pre-give ends, and then the day of giving, obviously on the 5th. The minimum donation is $10. And that's just because there's a lot of processing that goes on with that. And the shopping cart has been greatly enhanced than in years past. And so you can keep shopping, keep adding, you know, use those keywords, go find them, click on the other ones to come back. Make sure you know that if you were like, oh, I want to go find out more information about that, but you've added somebody else, that's always a real live rotating feed at the bottom of those other nonprofits. So it will disappear. So grab it while it's there if you need to. The important thing too is that gifts are processed in real time. Before, last year was the first year that we had changed this, but if gifts were made that week before, they would all be processed on Go Big Give Day. So if you went in on the 26th of April, your credit card wouldn't be processed until the 5th of May. Now it's processed in real time. So it will actually run on the 26th. Important thing there. We talked about the processing fees, that you can offset that or cover those, and that all donors will receive an email with their donation. And sometimes that's important because they will turn back and say, oh my goodness, I only meant to give $2,000, not $20,000. True story. So we can get, you know, right on top of that. So kind of be watching some of that information. And that this year, if you see that little blue button there, the support button is there for you as an organization, but also there for donors too. They can just click immediately on there, and there's a live support team that will respond to their questions immediately. So that they're not always coming back to you, they're not always coming to us, that they can be answered very efficiently and effectively. So,
and I just wanted to touch, just because Go Big Give sends a receipt automatically to your donors Doesn't mean you guys shouldn't still send them a thank you. I think it's best practice. Still send your donors a thank you. It means a lot to them, especially like a handwritten thank you. That's how you're going to get those repeat donors. It's a best practice. It's just a great way to, you know, have a nice touch with those donors. So just because they're getting that emailed receipt from us doesn't mean it's enough to be able to get them to come back and continue to give to your organization time after time.
So will we have access to their like addresses or emails through the site?
If you go on the back end, yes, you'll have that information. Yep.
It's really detailed and it's archived there from year to year. So if you want to, if you're new to the organization, you want to know who gave last year, you can go right to that back end and search by last year or the year before.
You could really be building a database. You know, as an organization, you could be building a database based on the donors that you're pulling in from Go Big Give.
So for those online, the question was if they can find that information, and yes, you can online. Okay.
Cash gifts. Okay, so cash, yes, there's another question in the back. Anonymous donors will be just that. They will be anonymous. You will not receive any information on that donor. It will say that it is an anonymous donation.
But they will have gotten a receipt.
Yes.
And we can see it on our backside, but if they marked anonymous,
you will not.
We have to respect that.
Yeah. And we won't give you that no matter how many times you ask. So cash gifts, you know, Go Big Give is supposed to be an online giving day. And so we hammer this every year, but there obviously are people who do not like to give online. So we have the option for cash gifts and online giving. Or offline giving. We do have an offline giving form that Allie will be posting to the portal. And it looks like this every year. It'll have every organization listed. It has to have an email address. And so if they don't have an email address, you need to utilize your organizational email address in that line. We have to be able to tie some sort of email address to be able to put that into the system. Cash gifts need to be brought to Go Big Give headquarters, and they will, or if they are brought, they are not eligible for incentive prizes. They are eligible for match pool funds, however. Bulk online forms with cash brought to Go Big headquarters will be counted as one gift and not counted as unique donors. We can't do like 10 or 20 $10 gifts as a stack and then have a whole bunch of individual gifts. It's just too much for us to process. It's way too much. And they all need to be brought into headquarters before 8 p.m. on the 5th.
And the headquarters will be at the Heartland United Way this year. Oh, yeah. Never mind, I jumped way ahead.
Okay. Next, check process.
Checks are only accepted through Go Big Give if they are dated April 1st to May 5th. So April 1st is your first day that you can take a check that is for Go Big Give. Checks outside this date range will not be accepted. So 12/31 checks of 2021, no. January 1st, no. Anything outside of April 1st is a no. Don't try it, it won't work. How to enter those checks, there is a video and step-by-step instructions on the toolkit. We ask that your donor enter their own check onto Go Big Give, and it will show you how to do that on the website step-by-step. It's really, really simple.
And I know it says that we'll show the video, but I want to make sure that we're conscientious of time. The video is on the toolkit if we don't get to it today. And Megan and I were talking about even doing a new one. So I don't think it'll change drastically, but just so you're aware, we're working on that. And I don't know with time, I just want to make sure we're conscious of that if we'll get to it.
Just make sure that your donor, when they enter it, and if it's like with a business and how it's listed on the check needs to match how they enter it in online. So if it's like Dibburn Family Farms, but you enter it only as like Bill Dibburn, it's not going to always match, and the bank's gonna it'll flag it and not process it through. And that's where we ended up with a lot of issues. But we can, and one of the reasons it's not like we have a control thing with the Go Big Give checks, but many of you had this issue when you're entering checks, you didn't get all the way out. And so donors' accounts were actually debited for other gifts that were made to that organization. So we really have to be strict on the integrity of this platform. As Melissa said, it's an online, but the checks, if it's there to process it, but it's there for the donors to process much more than organizations. So,
and year over year checks are what hold up us being able to get the money out to you guys. So the smoother we can make this process, the quicker we can get the dollars out to you guys, because this is what takes us the longest to audit, is the check piece of this. Like we said, donors are asked to input their own checks. We're asking you guys not to do this on behalf of the donors this year. Anything over 5,000 needs to be verified by us. Special gifts. I don't even know where you're going with that.
There's other things that happen, like if there's anything outside the norm of what we've talked about, call us, let us know. We'll work with you on processing that. And then, what was that last?
Oh, that's just contact us.
Oh,
that's why I just went this.
Yeah. I was just going to say something else about the checks, but, or the gifts.
If you don't know what to do, just contact us. That's what this slide is. Yeah, just if you have questions, contact us.
That's what we're there for. Call us.
Okay.
All right, so Mindy is here with the Grand Island Independent. We're actually going to go back so we can cover how those ads will look. Yes. Oh, yeah.
They asked if we get cash, what is the latest date that we need? May 5th.
Yeah, May 5th. May 5th.
At 8 o'clock.
Mindy, welcome. Thank you for coming this morning. I'm just going to go back to the independent there. No, they don't have. Yeah, you can. I can pass them out if you want to talk. Oh.
Oh, one more thing on the checks. Please remember to hold the checks until we've said you can get rid of them. If you have them or your donors have them, please have them hold them, because if there's anything that's flagged, as you know, some of you we've called and said bring the checks in because it didn't process. We'll enter it and process and deposit it on our end. So please hold them. Have the donors hold them until you've been given the all clear by us. Okay.
And then I'll just put these on the table, and if you could just do close, because we have on Zoom too. Okay. All right. All right. So this is basically the same thing.
Yep, it is. There were many more people here than I expected to see, which is awesome. They talked earlier about the Go Big Give tab that we put into the paper. It is a really great way we have found to get people interested, to get people to call, in partnership with all the things that the United Way does for you as well. So it's just another tool to push people towards your event or your organization for donations. These are, I feel, a little confusing, and we've had some confusion over the years. I think it'll change for next year, but these, you buy one size, you get the size bigger. So we're giving you a buy one, get one. You can use it to run 2 ads, 2 of the original size ads in the tab, or you can upsize, purchase a 1/4 page ad, you get a 1/2 page ad in the tab. We do have some pages that will allow for full color. That is an additional charge. We will also have some pages that will allow for just the red. That is used by Go Big Give. We have a limited number of pages of those. We have a new company, so it's not quite set up yet. So I'm not sure how many that will be, but the sooner you get your request in to be in the tab, the better. To me, it's really simple. So I guess if you have any questions about it, but it is the buy one, get one means you're getting one ad and you're getting it for 1/2 of what anyone else would.
She brought some extra forms, so I'm just going to put them on the table up here. So you can grab one as you go. I don't know if we have enough for everyone, but if you want one, we can get you the information. That's not a problem.
I'll leave a stack of my cards up here also. If anyone comes up with questions after today, feel free to give me a call. You won't all be assigned to me as the person that enters your ads and gets your ads designed, but I will be a touchstone for anyone that has questions. It is a one-day ad. The tab comes out on, I forget, on the 1st of May. Yes. Yeah.
So when you talk about an ad, are you going to have something that's inserted in the paper?
Yes, it'll be a.
We want something in there about our organization. We have to buy the ad.
Correct.
You're not going to have something where people can see all the 150 organizations.
I don't remember if we did that before or not.
I don't
think we did a list.
That, like a list of all the organizations, but what you guys have also done in the past is had, like, if everyone's having an event, that would have an event schedule.
Right.
And that was one reason I think we were bringing it out earlier, because some of your events are a little bit earlier than May 5th. And so that the events could be on there. So I think that is, so again, getting that earlier to us. And then that's also on the website, the list of events. So we'll be communicating with everybody just to make sure that people will know where to go eat. That's always the most fun thing to do, or to go and enjoy or learn more about your organizations. But that is an idea to consider, because those tiles are already created on the profile. So maybe we can work on that.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I can work with the United Way on, getting something out like that. But I personally would request that you all schedule your eating things at 30-minute interviews so I can hit more of them this year. That would be great. Any other questions? No, we'll work with you. Once you have called in and said that you do want to run the ad, what size you want to run, then we'll work with you on content. I know some places will want to build their own ads, and that's fine. But we have staff that builds and is more than willing to build your ad.
Great question.
Yeah, that's one I wouldn't have thought of. Any other questions? And again, most of you have probably seen a tab in the paper. It's the broadsheet, which is what we call the full page, and it's turned over and folded. And so then you get this nice square tab on the inside. And I think one year we had like 30 some pages to it. So it's a very nice piece. Okay, well, if you don't have any questions, that was really fast from me. I'm sorry if that was too fast, but again, there'll be some of the flyers up front here and also my card. If you think of any questions, just give me a call. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Mindy.
Well, let me get that off of your stuff.
That's good. All right, I'm going to go back to where we were, and now this is where I'm going to give a tour of the website. I'm sure everyone has already seen this, but just in case, I'm going to stop sharing here so I can get it pulled up. Megan, you'll let me know if something weird happens on there. Okay. Okay, so this is the home page of the Go Big Give website. This is where you'll see, this is where your donors will see when they first go here. To look at any of the nonprofits, you're gonna go to the nonprofit tab. As you can see, we have the 150 listed here. You can choose to have these alphabetized. You can randomly look at them. You could search for yours. So I'm just gonna search for Imagination Library. There it is, it pulls up. So you wanna make sure your donors know about this tab. This is a very important tab so they can find you. We're just gonna look at how the profile looks. Yours will look similar to this. We have pictures, we have videos, we have my logo here. And then if we had events, we would add that here. We don't have events right now. If we had volunteer opportunities, we could add that in there. The more you can make this personable, the better. I think Megan's gonna talk more about that later. The leaderboards, will be live on the day. So you'll want to check back in on May 5th. This is where we're going to see the donations coming in and how it's looking for the nonprofits. The About Go Big Give tab, the fundraising pages that we were talking about kind of works as cheer pages or the GoFundMe pages. Give some explanations here. It describes how to create a fundraiser. The prizes that we were talking about will be on this page. Again, I'm going to go in and make sure that everything is accurate in the next few days. So if you look at this right after the meeting, just know it's probably going to be changing, but this is where you will find the prize information.
One thing on the board challenge, make sure that you're tracking that and then you give us the documentation of that and then we can go back in and verify that for whichever, but you don't need to know every time a board member made a gift. Don't send us an email and say, hey, this board member just made a gift. Because we have 150 nonprofits. So just collectively, you guys track that. And then you can let us know for your eligibility. We kind of had an issue with that last year.
The events tab we were talking about, when you post an event on your profile, it will show up on this page. So that's going to be really cool. We asked our project manager to actually update that. So it will actually be able, so you can go in and choose the dates that you want to see. And if you have an event like in October or September, you can add that to your page and it will stay live throughout the year. So that's just something to kind of keep in the back of your mind. This is just sponsors. Again, I'll be updating this, but if you are just curious about who's helping us put on Go Big Give and you wanted to thank the sponsors, this is where you would find this information. Frequently asked questions. So if you leave and you're like, I can't remember what they said about Internet Explorer, it will be on this page. And in the toolkit, I hope everyone has already gone to the nonprofit toolkit. This is where you can find information about the logo, frequently asked questions. We have sample posts and tweets. So this is kind of for you guys to be successful. This is also where you'll find that how to insert a check video. Oh, while I'm here, I will also post the slides from today's meeting and the video. So you can always reference back. That'll be up, yeah, that'll be on there. We got it. There's also a toolkit for donors and businesses. Not as extensive as yours. Okay, and I want to give a tour of the back end as well. So I'm sure everyone is already logged in and are familiar with that, but those who are new, I just want to make sure that that content is covered. So if I were to go in here and do the login, nonprofits, I'm going to log in as a returning organization. That's what everyone here will do. This is what you're going to see. I actually put an announcement on that page to like register for today's meeting. So if you see an announcement, that was me. My public profile, this is where you're going to find all of the information that you can add to your profile. This probably looks familiar. It's what you use for registration. You can go in and change this information up until I think April 24th. Would I recommend that? Probably not. I would want to make sure that this is all updated probably like midway through April because donors are going to be looking at this. We've already started that process of getting your names out there. So the tabs on the side, the overview, that's where we were, the donation levels. This is where you can put specific amounts. We recommend only 3 levels. For those of you who are new, this means like for us, we have $30 that sponsors 1 child for 1 year. So the donors know exactly where their money is going. The second level we have is $150, and that gives a child a library of their own. So it sponsors them throughout the program. Does that make sense? Does anyone have questions about that? Okay. The multimedia, this is where you can add pictures and videos. I would definitely recommend at least adding some pictures that kind of brings your profile to life. The events, this is where you add your event and it'll show up on that front end where we had the events page. Again, same kind of concept with the events. If you have a volunteer opportunity, you can post it here. documents. I think we've all survived that, but that's where you would put your 501c3, your voided check, and then your EFT form, and then your contacts. So I think it's all pretty straightforward. Does anyone have questions about the back end or the front end of the website? That would be the My Donations tab. I don't want to scroll down because I'm pretty sure we'll have people's information, but that's where you'll be able to find that. So I just want to protect the people who've donated to us, but that would be on the Giving Day performance, I believe, at the bottom. So if you go back to the question was, where do you put your Giving Day performance goals? That first tab, Giving Day performance, if you go down to the bottom, you can update your goals. You can update those matching funds secured. This is where that information goes. Thank you for the question online. Any questions?
Will they show up in my time as they come in during the day? So we'll know what's being commented.
Yes, yes. The question was if the donations come throughout the day, and yes, they do. Okay, well, I think we're gonna actually wrap up the meeting with some marketing tips, and we're gonna end with where headquarters is gonna be at. And then before everyone leaves, we're gonna take a picture of all of us in red. So I think we're getting towards the end of the meeting. Why does it not go? Oh, here it's because. There you go. There we go.
Okay, so Allie, oh, sorry. So Allie actually touched on a lot of the biggest chunk of like marketing and getting your name out there is really staying up to date on your Go Big Give profile. And any pictures, videos, stories, anything that you can make it as personal as possible that will really pull at someone's heartstrings to get them to donate to you is the best way to get those donations pulled in. Really, you have to kind of ask yourself when you're building those or when you're posting social media, when you're doing anything along those lines, ask yourself, would you support this? Is this something that you feel passionate about? You know, ask your staff, is this something that they are aligned with? Is it something that is giving them the drive to give? You can ask your board of directors. They are going to be your biggest like cheer squad. Really get them on top of this and get them excited about you participating in Go Big Give. And then also any volunteers or donors that you have are a great way to spread the word. They can really get your name out there and have them participate in Go Big Give. So your biggest goals during this is obviously to raise funds. You can ask for the challenge grants, fundraising pages. Those goals that someone had asked about of giving are a great way for people to try and, so many people want to hit those goals for you. So that's a great thing to include on your page. Really educating and enhancing your awareness. Like I said, storytelling is going to be a huge asset to you guys. And really just be strategic about how you're getting the word out there, this post that you're putting on social media, just really getting it out there as much as possible and who you want to hit and what demographics that you want to hit for your fundraising.
So I contacted Angela with the Center Educational Foundation because I was like, don't just listen to us. I wanted to get someone who's been a part of this process. And these are some of the tips that she had for all the nonprofits. So she said, have an event, at least a physical presence on the day. So market to the appropriate audience, the newspaper, flyers, social media. So she's making sure that you're covering those younger audiences versus the older audiences. And then she just wants to make sure that you're securing those match funds to a certain amount. And then the last thing she said was have a specific item or project to which the funds will be applied, so your donors know where it's going. And so she said, these are all the things that they've done over the years to make sure that they're successful.
Yeah, so our toolkit, that is a great thing to explore. We have a ton of print material that you can download and have printed off. And there's a ton of that is going to, especially if you don't have that marketing presence in your organization, this is a really easy way to still having that resource for you guys. Okay, so these are just kind of some different events that we've had in the past and just what they have looked like, how they've put those out there. You can do something similar. You can pretty much, as long as you use our logo, the Go Big Give logo, it is a great way. You can make it as personal as you absolutely want to.
And if you do have an event, make sure you register it on the Go Big Give site so that we're aware of it, because it allows us, Karen and I spend all of Go Big Give Day going to the different events, and we put that out on social media and we help to market that stuff. So if we don't know about it, we can't show up. And if it's not on the website, other people might not know about it. We do other things with it as well. So I just highly recommend, if you are having some sort of an event, please register it on the website so that everybody's aware of it.
Yeah, and any of you on Zoom that didn't hear that, just to repeat what Melissa said, if you're having an event, please register it on the website so that not only can Melissa and Karen attend, that make sure other people know to attend that as well.
We've kind of talked on this, and I know we're running out of time, so we're just going to kind of fly through these last few slides. So again, just make sure you have that fundraising plan and a marketing plan in place. And I think we've already talked on this, but make sure you're educating your employees, promote on social media, create rewards, make sure you're just getting the word out. Join forces with us on social media. Join us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And then again, this is just showing where you can find the information for those nonprofit incentive guidelines on the toolkit. This is just reaffirming where that support widget is. This is the home page. The arrow is pointing down to where you can find that. So if you have questions, you want to know immediately what's going on, you can contact them. They're professionals. This is what they do. They want to talk with you.
And we're paying for it, so use it. That's part of what your 5% is for. Use it.
It's a great tool for you guys, and they'll be able to respond very, very quickly, especially the day of. If you have any problems whatsoever, they're a great resource for you guys.
So we have two options for, yes. I think the last day is April 24th, right before pre-giving. But as I said earlier, I personally would not wait till the day before. I would probably set a goal that I want that updated by April 15th.
The sooner the better, because it just, again, gives people a chance to go out and see your organization and what you're planning on doing the day of.
Okay, so we have two options for the Go Big Give t-shirts. The first option is to go through Abante Marketing. This is who we're going through. I provided Trevor's information. He is our representative, and he said, yes, absolutely, you can contact him. If you like the way this shirt looks, you can go ahead and contact him and order them. I'm not going to tell you a price because I think it changes depending on how many you order. So that is something that you'll have to discuss with him. I'm going to leave this up. You can take a picture. Again, I'll post this later if you want to find his contact information. The second option is to go ahead and create your own t-shirts. You can choose any establishment that you want. If you want to go through t-shirt engineering, if you know someone more local, it's kind of up to you. The logo is available on our website. You can use that. So that the first one is more structured. The second one, you have creative abilities.
Will you go back to the contact information?
Yes.
In case any of you needed to take another picture. We'll leave it up just a little bit longer in case you need to do that.
Well, we can even go out too.
Yes, and it will be on the website. Allie will probably have it posted later today, but just in case. Okay.
Important information to know. Go Big Give headquarters will be at Heartland United Way office this year. We have our address there, phone number, and of course the email. And then, so we actually went ahead and scheduled the meeting in June. So it's June 15th at 9 a.m. This will be available online as well.
We did have a question online about the yard signs, and that was a good reminder. So we are ordering more yard signs this year, but we really don't want those out until right before the pre-give, so that when it's out, it's like, hey, you can go online and give now. And our team decided that we would make sure we had one for every organization, and then we wanted just to make sure you put them out strategically, not like in your front yard, but you know, alongside a place or something. And we'll have a checkout, like a reporter's note, like who has which ones. We can keep better tabs on them, get them back. And even if, you know, everyone's like, well, I want to I'll just store it over the year. And that works great until then next year you don't have one because the person who did it had it and no one knows where it is. So we're going to just try to, you know, get them out there. If you all want at least to put out, and if you have some other in your area, especially in the rural communities, we want to make sure we have enough yard signs out there to kind of give a big splash. We do have a banner that we will put in, you know, some of the area communities as well, but yard signs will be coming, which is not then.
And we do have posters up here, pennants, that we'd love for you guys to take some out and start painting the town.
Yeah, these can go up anytime. We didn't change them except for the day.
So Karen just answered the question, and she said that we are ordering more yard signs. So we'll have those available for those online, and then we'll make sure that that is shared with everyone once they're available. And we're going to be putting out signs the closer we get to Go Big Give. So we're asking with those yard signs that they don't be put out until those pre-giving dates, at least like a week before. Questions? Yes.
Question for Karen. When you said maybe do the checks to verify $5,000, what do you mean by that?
Well, again, we're just trying to reserve the $20,000, $2,000 issue. And so if you have a check and you're entering something like that, you're with the donor or whatever, just kind of give us a heads up, because if we don't want to pay processing fees on $20,000, if that's wrong, so the sooner we can get it back out, the less chance we'll have of incurring a lot of fees on that. So that was more the timeliness. And so we just kind of set a benchmark of 5,000 or more, just to be in communication with us on that. It's actually sent us an email, said, hey, this is your debt, this is
so for those online, the question was about why we need to verify a check for $5,000, and it's basically just so we can keep track of all of the money when we reconcile the information at the end of Go Big Give.
So I think if there's no more questions, we're going to do a picture.
Yes, we're going to do a picture.
Which is why we all wore red.
We'll go downstairs for a picture.
Thank you everyone for joining us online. I'm going to go ahead and end it. If you have any questions, just please let me know. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. Bye.